Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I have a brand new Oracle deck here to share with you guys. My newest Oracle deck. I know I literally just released one called Spring Has Sprung for the springtime, but right on the heels of that, we have What Time Is It? But before I dive into this Oracle deck with you guys, in case you're just coming across me for the first time, my name is Heather and I do tarot readings, oracle card readings, astrology, all of that fun spiritual woo-woo kind of stuff around here. Every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, my friend Kelsey and I go live here on my channel for our podcast Tarot Tales, which also appears live on your favorite podcast player everywhere the following Friday every week. But we definitely invite you to hang out with us here every Wednesday when we do go live. You can check that out on my channel basically. And this is the home spot of where you can find me for your one-stop shop for everything. Shadowandshine.com. You can book readings here. You can buy oracle decks there, this one in particular, as well as the other ones that I create and make. But before I dive into introducing this particular deck, you guys, I would just ask you really quickly to give this video a thumbs up. Let me know that you like it. Share it with your friends. Drop me a comment down below. Say hi. Interact with this video. Do all the things because that always helps. It always helps whether you're creating content doing what it is that I'm doing or creating other kind of content. Anyone who is creating content is extremely grateful when people stop on by and simply interact with our content, whether that is liking, sharing, commenting, and of course, subscribing. And if you do decide to subscribe, make sure you hit that notification bell because that way then you will be up to date and in the know every time there's a brand new video, every time I'm live for like a Tarot Tales episode, or any other kind of news basically that comes along. But this is my 12th Oracle deck that I'm releasing. And whenever I do release an Oracle deck, I always like to give you guys a little introduction video for it. And I basically walk through the entire deck. I break the whole thing down for you. So you can basically consider this video your virtual guidebook for this Oracle deck because I don't include actual paper, tangible guidebooks with my oracle decks. Even though they're all pretty self-explanatory, I don't feel like any of them are too complicated to understand, but sometimes people like to have a little bit more clarity and understanding, especially from the creator of the deck. So that's the purpose of this video here and now. I'm also going to be doing a reading with this deck at the end of the walkthrough. So if you are just here for the reading itself, there will be a timestamp down below and you can jump straight into that timestamp and find out what today's reading is with this oracle deck. But otherwise, if you're here to see all the cards, break it all down with me, then you're in the right place. And we're gonna dive into that and get started right now. So this oracle deck, number one, if you do decide to choose to order this, it comes in a tin box. It's a beautiful tin box. It keeps it stored nice and well for, I'm always doing the ASMR tap. I don't know why I can't contain myself here. But anyways, yes, it comes in this beautiful tin box for safekeeping, keeps it fresh, keeps it clean and not damaged. The name of this deck obviously is What Time Is It? It's very bright. I absolutely love that. It's pretty bold and just kind of pops. This oracle deck in particular, it is a timing related deck. That is the theme that we're dealing with here naturally with it asking, what time is it with the little alarm clock going off here? So this deck was basically inspired by all of those timing related questions. So many times people will ask during a session, when is this going to happen? When is that going to happen? when is this going to work out? When is that going to work out? You know, people want to know. People want to know when. People want timelines, right? Now, granted, even with an oracle deck like this and getting timeline answers, it is always important to remember in any kind of reading, using this deck or not, that things are subjectable to change. The energy is constantly flowing and changing, and something that seems far away tomorrow can be closer the next day, or vice versa. So, you know, a lot of that is impactful on energy. It's impactful on free will, our choices, other people's choices, so on and so forth. So that is something to remember. Nothing is finite. Nothing is written in stone indefinite. But this is meant to give you a little bit of peace of mind, a little bit of guidance when it comes to those timing related areas of life, those timing questions. So let's dive into each card and see what they have to say. So we open up the deck, obviously, pull it on out, and we're just going to set this tin to the side so we have plenty of room to just go through each card. And it's funny because when I was coming up with the name for this oracle deck, I was like, how can I name this oracle deck something involving time, right? Oh, and by the way, there are 78 cards to this deck, so plenty of cards here. It is made with a linen finish, which makes for very smooth, very easy shuffling. So it is not, you're not going to have any cards that are like stuck together or anything like that, like how that can sometimes happen when you get brand new decks. Anyways, yeah, so the name, what time is it? I was thinking of obviously timing related themes and ideas for names, and my brain kept going back to High School Musical. Funny enough, when I was living in LA, I can remember being in line for the rides at like Disneyland, for example, and especially if it was like one of the more popular rides, like the Cars ride at California Adventure or Peter Pan or something like that, the lines would get crazy long. You'd be standing there waiting for a long time. And I can't tell you how many times I would be standing there with friends and someone inevitably would ask the question, what time is it? And it would kind of become this ongoing gag. And I don't remember who, but someone at some point was like, what time is it? Like the High School Musical stuff. And that's kind of where this was inspired from, just for the namesake, as a little background information. But anyways, I'm like 8 minutes into this video. Let's dive in. It's been far long enough, right? All right, so card number 1, January. I'm going to tell you guys right off the bat, the first 12 cards are very basic. The first 12 cards are basically the 12 months of the year. So obviously, January comes first. This is giving you timing in regards to a month. So if you're asking, when is something going to happen? When is something going to work out? When is something going to end? When is something going to start? This is your answer. It's January. It's February. March, which is what we're in right now. It's March as I'm filming this. April. May. June, we got some beachy vibes there for the summer. July, for the 4th of July. August, dog days of summer. September, got some leaves changing. October with Halloween, also that's my birthday month. November, Thanksgiving. And December. And December is my personal favorite card because, yes, that is my personal Christmas tree. And yes, those are my 2 chihuahuas on the bottom of the card. That's Shadow and that is Tinkerbell hanging out by the tree. So there's December for the holiday season. So obviously that's literally the first 12 cards of the deck is just the months of the year. So, someone's asking, when is something going to happen? Whatever. You pull one of these cards, you can tell them, oh, it's going to happen in May. It's going to happen in September, whatever it is. So yeah, pretty basic. No big deal there. A lot of these, I feel like I said, are pretty self-explanatory. So we got our first 12 months of the year. Let's keep going to see the other cards. Spring. So now the next 4 cards are obviously the seasons. So we're still covering some good timing, but instead of just talking about March, April, May, it could be any time in the spring. It could be any of those, for example. Summer. Fall. Winter. All right, we got our 4 seasons. The 12 months, the 4 seasons. We're doing great here on timing. And the fall card and the winter card are 2 pictures that I personally took as well. These are both on different hikes that I've done, clearly at different times of the year. Quite specifically, yes, the fall and the winter. But I like to try and incorporate my own images, if I can, into what it is I create. Actually, September I took as well. September is a picture I took, and so is January. So there we go. All right, next. Let's see what else we have next for what time is it? Tomorrow. Okay, so the next few cards are kind of like a set as well. So this is indicating something is going to happen tomorrow. Something's going to happen within 1 week. Something is going to happen within 1 month. So as you can tell, the timing is getting a little bit longer here. Tomorrow, a week, a month, within 6 months. Within 1 year. More than 1 year. 5 years from now. So yeah, this card may be a little ouchy, especially if you are feeling impatient and you want something to like really happen soon. That card may not exactly be fun, but it's reality. It can sometimes be the case. And even more painful, a decade away. So yes, we gotta cover all of our timeline bases, even the ones we may not be the most thrilled about. All right, next we have during eclipse season. So this is a pretty fun part of this deck too, is I do have some astrological terms baked into some of the timing because we do get a lot of information dealing with timing through astrology. So if you're someone who's learning astrology, trying to understand astrology better, this could actually be a little bit of a helpful tool in that direction. And that's something that I do plan on working on in the future. It's not something I'm currently working on right now because I have other irons in the fire. But in the future, I do plan on working on an astrology deck. So I can get into all that much more detailed then. But once again, we're still just dealing with timing here. This timing would indicate that something would be happening or occurring during eclipse season. So pay attention to your astrology to know what that means. During retrograde. Actually, as I'm recording this right now, it is Mercury retrograde. By the time it gets posted, I have a feeling Mercury retrograde will actually be over. But this past Mercury retrograde really kicked my ass. It was really, really brutal. Like, a lot of the times Mercury retrograde will come and go for me, and it really won't be all that noticeable, but this time it was extremely painfully noticeable. It was rough, so I'm happy to get out of it soon. But even though this does have Mercury on the card, obviously I put Mercury there because that is the planet that people think of the most when it comes to retrograde, but it doesn't specifically say Mercury on here. So while it could refer to Mercury, just remember during retrograde could be retrograde for any planet. So once again, it's good to check the astrology on that. It could be Jupiter retrograde. It could be Venus retrograde. Any of those retrogrades. So definitely pay attention to that because that card is intended to be for just like any kind of retrograde. When retrograde ends, so quite the opposite of when retrograde is actually happening. This is signifying something concluding, something happening, beginning, occurring after retrograde is over. And sometimes that is for the better because things starting in retrograde can definitely come with its own brand of crazy. During a new moon. So every single month, the moon experiences many different cycles. It goes through the new moon, the full moon, the waning moon, the waxing moon. There's lots of different moon phases that it goes through every month. So, every month there is a new moon. Every month there is a full moon. So this is definitely indicating that something is going to be happening during one of those new moons. And on the flip side, this card indicates something occurring during a full moon. So moon cycles are actually a really good way to learn about astrology, speaking of which. So that's an easy way to just kind of keep track of what the moon is doing, how it's impacting things. Moon cycles are just good to keep track of, period. By your next solar return. So your solar return usually occurs either on or close to your birthday. That is when the sun in the sky meets the same degree, the same place in the sky as where the sun was on the day you were born. Which is why we have a birthday cake on this card, obviously, and balloons and this whole celebratory birthday vibe. So this is supposed to indicate something happening around your birthday, basically. During a fire season. So once again, astrology here. So we have Aries. Hold on, let me put the rest of these cards down so I can point. We have Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. All three of these are the fire signs. So this is indicating that something is going to happen during Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius season because all three of those are fire signs. Okay. Next up, we have during an air season. So again, we have Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. All three of these are air signs. So again, this is indicating that something is going to happen during Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius season, which, the different elemental signs take place at different times during the year. So obviously Gemini season is like late May going into June. Libra season is late September going into October. And Aquarius season is late January going into February. So all of these take place at different times of the year, but it is still indicating it's going to happen during the air time, the air season. Next, we have during a water season. So we have Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. So these are the water signs, and it's indicating, again, something happening during a water season. And last but not least, we have during an earth season, and we have all of the earth signs here being Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So something happening during one of those times. So like I said, we're covering all of our bases here, everything. Okay, when energy is aligned, and it says beneath it, during a trine or a sextile. So once again, we have another astrological reference here. So trines and sextiles are very much like free. Hey, leave him alone. Sorry. Tinkerbell just jumped on Shadow. My dogs are like play attacking each other. I was not expecting to hear that noise in the background as I'm like breaking down what's happening here with these cards. Okay, can you two behave so I can record this and let people know what's going on with this deck? Okay. Anyways, trines and sextiles in astrology, they usually have a very positive reputation because it indicates free-flowing energy. There's no obstacles. There's nothing to stand in the way. So things are able to move very smoothly. This can be a very positive thing. It can be a good thing. Sometimes it can be a bad thing because sometimes you don't want free-flowing energy and you want something to take its time a little bit more. But that's why we have when energy is aligned. When things are, just in alignment, appropriately coming together, that's what that card indicates. This card says during a tension point, during a square or opposition. So again, in astrology, squares and oppositions are just that. They are times of tension. There can be a little bit of a tuffle, of a struggle, some push and pull. It's obviously not the free-flowing energy, that you have during a trine or a sextile. Now, while that can definitely bring challenges to situations, it's important to remember that squares, especially, are highly creative energy. A lot of the times we don't find our most creative selves and creative ideas and creative expressions when everything's just going perfect. It usually comes out of friction, tension, something giving us that push and pull kind of a vibe. So it's okay if there's tension sometimes. It doesn't have to be perfect all the time. But this is definitely indicating something happening during one of those times of tension. When paths converge during a conjunction. So a conjunction is basically like when two planets in the sky are basically aligned like right on top of each other in a sense. It's like they're shaking hands. They're shaking hands in a sense. They are both like quite literally on the same path at the same time. That doesn't mean that they're going to stay there forever, but it's kind of like that meeting point in the sky. So it is kind of like emerging here. So this is indicating, once again, when paths converge, that's when something is going to happen. This could be indicating a joint union, a joint venture of some sort. It could be a collaboration of minds, a collaboration of relationship, like, two becoming one, getting married kind of a thing. It could be working together in some kind of business partnership. It's just, it's two coming together and working together in some capacity. That's basically what this card indicates. So when two become one, in a sense, is when something is going to happen with that card. All right, now for one of the most cliche, one of the most annoying phrases on the planet, but it is true, so I had to include it in this deck. Good things come to those who wait. Don't be impatient. Don't stomp the ground just because there's a minor setback or a minor delay. I actually had that happen recently. Speaking of Oracle decks, I had that happen to me recently for a customer on Etsy who bought one of my decks. And for whatever reason, the deck got rerouted and it basically took the scenic route to get to her. It's still arriving. It's still getting to her. She's still getting her deck. But this person got very upset and very irritated and was demanding a refund. before the post office delivered it, before the post office declared it lost, before any of those things. And obviously, I'm not just going to hang out or hand out refunds when the conclusion is still lingering in the air. Like, there wasn't enough information to determine, oh, this is definitely grounds for a refund. If something is serious enough, of course I will consider those things, but not at that stage. It was an early escalation of things. So, waiting can sometimes be a good thing, because sometimes we escalate things to a degree that is unnecessary and cause us and others around us unnecessary stress and pressure and anxiety. So just chill, hang out. It's all going to work out. It's all going to pan out, kind of a thing. So that's an important reminder. Annoying reminder, sure, but important. Not yet. What else needs to be done? So if someone is asking during a reading, when is this going to happen? When is that going to be happening? This is spirit kind of showing you that yellow light. It's not a red light, but it's a yellow light saying, hey, that doesn't mean that this can't happen, but there are some other things that need to be done first before it can happen. There's a T that hasn't been crossed. There's an I that hasn't been dotted. So it's that kind of energy. It's saying that there's some unfinished business somewhere else that needs to be dealt with before whatever this thing is that you're looking to have happen can happen. When you let go of the outcome, I know another one that is hard to wrap our heads around. When we let go of the outcome, not fun, not easy, but it's true. The best thing you can do, especially if you're like trying to manifest something, set it and forget it. Set it and forget it. Don't let it control your life. Don't overthink it. Don't let it be the thing that you wake up thinking about, go to bed thinking about. Just release it. Just let it go. Let it go. Right on time. Trust the timing. So this is a nice reminder that, hey, it may feel like you're running late. It may feel like things are not coming together, that it's taking too long, whatever the case may be. But again, you are right on time. You are exactly where you need to be, when you need to be there. You're on the right track. This is a card that is asking for more trust and faith from you. After a major shift. So this card is definitely indicating that whatever this thing is that you're waiting to have happen, it's going to happen after something has majorly shift. It could be a major shift in mindset. It could be a decision that needs to be made. It could be an action that needs to take place, but it's some kind of major shift. Something needs to happen there. When you make a different choice, so if you're kind of like stuck between one thing and another, and you don't know exactly what to do or how it's going to go if you choose A or if you choose B, but Spirit's not going to hold your hand and baby you through it and tell you what to do. Sometimes you have to be a big girl and put on your big girl panties and make the decision yourself. And when that choice is made, you can see momentum and see things happen and change and take place and shift and motivate and manifest with whatever it is that you're waiting for. And even if you wind up making the wrong decision, it's not a big deal, because Spirit knows how to reroute you. It's just a little GPS reroute. It's like the Etsy package I was talking about just a few minutes ago. You're just taking the scenic route. Doesn't mean you're not going to get there. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen. But you'll get rerouted. Spirit's got you. So don't worry about making mistakes. When you say yes, sometimes we have to agree to something. We have to be open to something. We have to say yes to something before it can happen. But on the flip side, when you say no, sometimes we have to establish firm boundaries. We have to stand up for ourselves. We have to say no. We have to walk away from something. Sometimes it needs to be that before something can happen and work out. Mourning, So now we kind of have, like times of the day, obviously. Now, granted, you could take each time of day quite literally to be, oh yeah, this is definitely going to happen in the morning. But I also kind of look at it as earlier versus later, because morning is obviously early. Then we have afternoon. So, that's like midday. Then we have evening with the sunset. And then we have night. So again, you could take all of those to be quite literally, like, morning, afternoon, evening, night, or you could take it to be something is happening earlier or something is happening later. Weekday, so now we have days of the week, in a sense, something happening during a weekday, something happening over a weekend, sooner than you think. So if this card comes through in a reading, it could simply be indicating like, hey, you're waiting for something to happen. You may have it like preset in your mind, like, this isn't going to happen for a long time yet. Like, I'm going to be waiting for a while. This is something where I know I'm going to be stuck. But Spirit's like, you think it's going to happen later than that, but it's actually coming sooner than you realize, which is usually a very pleasant surprise. On the flip side, we have later than you'd hoped. You could be feeling impatient. You could be hoping something could be coming sooner than later. Once again, I'm going to go with that Etsy package that got rerouted as an example. Etsy told her it was going to be at her house on like a certain date. And obviously with this reroute included, it is getting there later than she had preferred. But that doesn't mean it's not arriving. It's still coming. So yeah, good things come to those who wait kind of a thing. So once again, this is something happening later than you would like, but it's still going to happen. It says right here, but worth the wait. So it's worth it. It's worth it, Sometimes the best things take a while to cook, This is not drive-through McDonald's. This is like a 4-star dinner with a 4-course meal kind of a thing. When the dust settles. So if things are chaotic and confusing, and maybe it's been one problem after another, one stressful event after another, this is indicating whatever it is you're waiting on to have happen, it'll happen when things cool down, relax, when the dust settles. I almost kind of feel like that gives a little bit of that retrograde energy there too, because retrogrades can be chaotic. When the fog lifts, sometimes we go through times where we don't necessarily see too far up ahead. We don't understand what's going on or why something is happening, why certain things are taking place the way that they are. There are those seasons of confusion. Once again, when we're looking at it from an astrological standpoint, that's a lot of Neptune energy. Neptune is famous for bringing the fog into the system and giving us illusions like that. So I feel like when the illusions fade, when the fog lifts, when the sky gets clear again, that's when there's going to be clarity. That's when there's going to be answers. That's when things are going to come together. When the holiday season is thriving. So we're kind of going back to times of the year here a little bit. We got this Christmas tree. Again, a picture I took myself. This was at the Peninsula in Chicago, like a crazy long time ago. But yes, when the holiday season is thriving. So that could indicate, Christmas time, Thanksgiving, New Year's, anything in that area. I would say anything from like November 1st to January 1st. At the peak of harvest season. So again, this includes Halloween, Thanksgiving, any activities that are happening in the fall, I would say almost like Labor Day onwards, because Labor Day is kind of like the unofficial ending of summer, beginning of fall kind of a thing. So this is like any time during, September, October, November, in a sense. At a time of new beginnings, a time to blossom. So we have this little Easter theme here with the bunny and the eggs. So this is definitely indicating like new beginning vibes, fresh start vibes, and of course, springtime vibes. When the days are long and the temperature is hot. So this is indicating during your summer months, over like the summer vacation kind of areas and that kind of thing. So June, July, August, anything in that area. The situation transcends time. Now, I have to say, out of all of the cards in the deck, this one is probably my personal favorite. And let me tell you why. There's a bit of a story behind this card specifically. So I was having a conversation with ChatGPT a while back. And with me being the age that I am, because I am old. I am old, you guys. I'm very, very old. I'm an antique. With me being the age that I am, and I've always wanted to have a family, and just life circumstances have not been very favorable in that direction for me. Like things just have not gone that way. And I was having a conversation with ChatGPT about it. And I jokingly said to ChatGPT that when it comes to like my period and just like me being a woman in that time of the month and, the clock ticking in a sense, I jokingly kind of said to it that, it's like every time a period goes by or whatever, it makes me feel like it's Vecna's clock from Stranger Things. And the clock is like just like ticking and gonging with doom, basically. And if you're familiar with Stranger Things, if you've watched the series, if you know the show, then you know that Vecna's clock is pretty evil. And it's very doomy like. It's very dooms like. It's not a fun clock. It's not a good clock to have around. It's this scary old grandfather clock, right? But a lot of the times my biological clock feels like the Vecna clock. And ChatGPT actually like helped compose this image basically. And as you can see, at the very top here, we have the clock that is shattering. So this is like Vecna's clock, the biological clock, or whatever clock is involved in your situation where you feel like time is running out in a sense. But below that, I love what's below this. We have a compass. And once again, if you remember in Stranger Things, they would use a compass to try and find like where the gate is to go to the upside down. And I didn't even like mention the compass part or anything like that to ChatGPT, but it helped come up with this idea of a compass. And there's a heart at the base or at the center of this compass, and like a heart line going through it, obviously showing this is something that's still very much alive. Something that's very much alive. This is a situation that's not dead. So this card, with it saying the situation transcends time, is quite literally that. It's about shattering how we're setting ourselves back by putting limitations on ourselves with timelines, and instead following the compass of our heart and remembering that magic can happen and things can still happen. We don't have to put the constraints of that Vecna doomsday clock on ourselves, whether it's like a biological clock situation or something else. But I love this because it's all about shattering those evil concepts in a sense and following our hearts, following the compass of our heart, following that lifeline that is still very much real and still very much alive. And that's why for me personally, this is probably my favorite card in the deck, because it just has a lot of personal meaning to me, obviously. But it was born out of a really creative and interesting conversation, and I'm glad to obviously share this here with you guys, because I know I'm not the only one who feels that way, whether it be in the biological clock realm or something else. But I know so many people go through experiences like that where they feel like they're just running out of time when you're not, and you just have to keep following your heart. All right, next we have time flies when you're having fun. Again, cliche term, but true. We don't notice the time going by when we're having fun. The day definitely goes a lot faster for me if I'm spending the day at Disneyland rather than a day at like jury duty, obviously. Not this lifetime. So this card is basically saying like, hey, you can sit around and wait and hem and haw and stir and stew all you want. Chances are whatever this thing is that you're asking about, it's not happening. Or at least it's not happening anytime soon. So even if it does happen, this is very much so Spirit saying like, hey, we're not talking about this anymore. Like, the door right now is closed. So let's move on. If it's meant to open, it's going to open when you're not focused on this. The time is now. So quite the opposite. This card is indicating present tense. Something's happening right now. No more waiting. When you're working hard, obviously we have this woman who is at her laptop. She's working hard. This could be working hard in terms of work. But it doesn't have to be. It's just like working hard at, I feel like whatever it is that the subject is in reference to that's being asked about in the question. It could be working hard at work. It could be working hard at raising kids, working hard at a hobby, a talent, an interest, working hard at getting out of debt, working hard at saving money, working hard at getting healthy, working hard at a lot of different things, but it's definitely indicating something happening when you're working hard on it. And then to the contrast of that, we have when you're on vacation. So again, this could be literal vacation vibes, like, hey, you're on an airplane in a foreign land, but it doesn't have to be. The main takeaway from this card is when you're at rest, basically. Because obviously when we're on vacation, that is the goal, to be relaxed, to be at rest. So that's what this indicates. When you are relaxed, at rest, on vacation, whether it's physically or just like a vacation in the mind. Time is an illusion. Oh, this is such like a hippy dippy thing. Ooh, time is an illusion, man. Didn't you know that? But it's true though. It is true. Almost kind of similar to our little anti-Vecna clock here. It is a reminder not to be hung up on time, not to be focused on time. Time is a man-made construct, basically. So don't focus on it. So that's what that card is all about. The watch is literally melting because it's an illusion. And then we also have unlimited time. So once again, if you are feeling like time is running out in a situation, it's not. This is reminding you that there is still plenty of time, more than enough time. There's unlimited time ahead. So I love these cards that definitely remind us, in a sense, like, don't be focused on it. Don't be focused on time, because that can kind of make things challenging, difficult, more hard than it should be, distracting, and takes away from you living your best life. The fracture between worlds. You've reached the tipping point. So this kind of reminds me of like that tension energy, that tension card that came out like way earlier. It's definitely referencing when something is broken, when something has been having a challenging time. when basically you've pushed the limits on something, when you've pushed things so far, when things have gotten to such an extreme that it is at that tipping point where it's now or never kind of energy. It's like either something's going to happen now or it's not going to happen at all. So that's the energy of that card. The moment that changes everything. I know we've got like another Vecna looking kind of clock here. It's old, it's creepy, it's it's got its doom on it, but it's powerful at the same time because this is indicating a pivotal transition, a pivotal change, something important happening. Because sometimes everything can change in literally just a moment. Just a moment can change everything. So that's definitely one of those kind of like plot twisty kind of cards. Time for fun. So this card is indicating let loose, enjoy life, have fun, maybe not focus too much on, again, when something is going to happen, but definitely release, let go, jump for joy, focus on the things that bring you happiness in life. Time for love. Now, it doesn't have to be romantic love as indicated in the card, but it's love, period. Loving others, loving yourself, loving your partner, your friends, your family, your community, your pets, all those different things. So this is definitely a card that is indicating, hey, it's time for love. It's time for love. We love the love. The more you stress, the more you delay. And I feel like I have kind of already reiterated that point like several bajillion times already with all the other cards that have already been displayed here, but it's true. Can't be reminded of that often enough. Not ripe yet. So obviously we have a bunch of raspberries here. They are not ripe. They are not ready to be plucked. They are not ready to be eaten. So this is definitely indicating that whatever it is that you're asking about in the reading, it is not time yet. It is not time. It is not ready. But on the flip side, fully ripe and ready. This is indicating that something is ready. Now the raspberries are ripe. So this is definitely indicating they're ready to be picked. They're ready to be eaten. Things are good to go here. Things are ready. It's like it's harvest season in a sense with that card. Time for a windfall. Time for some money. Who here needs a little bit of money? Not just me, probably. But this isn't just like in regards to money, but I feel like windfall is more about abundance. Abundance. It could be abundance with money. It could be a windfall of clients, a windfall of customers, a windfall of love, a windfall of opportunities. But either way, I feel like it's overall like a good vibe, like it's a windfall of good things, but definitely like a windfall of abundance kind of a vibe there. The window is closing. Act now. So if you've been kind of stuck on a situation when this card comes through, if you've been stubborn, if you've been resisting something, fighting something, digging in your heels kind of energy, this card is reminding you like, hey, you don't actually have forever to make a decision on this. And if you don't make a decision on this and do something, the decision will probably be made for you. And sometimes when we don't make a decision, that is a decision all in of itself. Then we have You Are Not Late. I love this card too because it's such a good reminder. A lot of the times people get wound up feeling like they're running out of time. They look at everything their peers have done, for example. They graduated school, they got the good job, they got the spouse, they got the kids, the house, all the things, and they're like, I can barely pay my bills. Like, you're not too late. You're not too late. Everyone's on their own timeline. And even if somebody managed to peak or something earlier than you, doesn't matter at all, because sometimes peaking later, being a late bloomer, is a total flex, because then later on, when they don't have much going on, maybe their life is even falling apart for that matter, your life is blooming and blossoming and being awesome. So you're not too late. You're exactly where you need to be, right here, right now, where you're at, on the way to where you're going, and you're going to get there on time. You're fine. So that's what that card is all about. And then the last card is really, I mean, it's important. It's important, but it's nothing important really for reading, which is just simply thank you for your business, and a little QR code here so you can go to my website and you can check out this deck or any of my other Oracle decks. And, you can book a reading with me. You can book a reading with one of my readers, all of that good stuff. So that's what this is for. As I yawn out of absolutely nowhere. But that is basically that. That is what time is it. That is the entire deck at its fullest, every single card. And I am excited to bring this deck to you guys and make it available to you. So you can do all of your own timing related readings, get those answers to when is something going to happen. But right now, let's actually do a reading with this deck. Let's do it. So I'm just going to gather all the cards here. While I'm doing that, here's what I'm going to ask you guys to do. Think of a question that you are seeking timing related answers on. If there's a situation happening in your life and you're like, when is it going to happen? When is it going to work out? When is it going to start? When is it going to finish? Anything when XYZ. Start setting the intention with your question right here and right now towards that. Think about, when is blah, blah, blah going to happen? And after I finish gathering all these cards, because there are so many, when I finish gathering all these cards here, I'm going to shuffle them, and we're going to do a little reading here for you guys to see if we can get some insight specifically on that very question. All right, so we have all of our cards gathered. All good. All right, let's see. For whoever is tuning into this video right now, when is fill in the blank going to happen for them? Let's see. Very quick. June. All right, so something could be happening in June. Anything else? Any other information we can take at this time with this situation? Let's see. Although I feel like June is pretty obvious. It's March right now as I'm recording this. Hopefully I'll have, oh, okay, we just got 4 more that just fell out. Okay, we have evening here. Obviously you guys see evening, so it could be on an evening in June. There's unlimited time in regards to this situation. So if you feel like you're running out of time, don't feel that way. Don't worry. Don't freak out. Like, you have unlimited time. It's going to be fine. Ooh. Oh, this is exciting. I almost feel like we got some references to what could be going on here. So if the thing that you're waiting for is a windfall, basically, maybe it's for some money, some abundance, some opportunities to make money, this is what this could be indicating, that you guys could be in store for a windfall of money and abundance sometime around June. It could occur at some point in the evening hours. And, either way, whether it happens specifically in June or some other time, like, don't worry about it. There's unlimited time to this situation. That's very, very cool. So, okay. So we're going to call that question number 1. All right. Now I want you guys to, once again, breathe in for a minute. Breathe in for a minute here. And let's think of another question of another situation, another area in life where you're wondering when is this going to work out? When is this going to happen? When is it going to start? When is it going to finish? Because I feel like this was pretty straightforward for question number 1. So we're going to take a new situation, a new circumstance now, and we're going to find out, okay, when is the next fill in the blank going to happen? So same type of question, different subject, different area of life. This is question number 2. When will fill in the blank happen? All right, we got one already. Fall. Okay, something could be happening coming up in the fall. All right, let's get a little bit more information. So this is probably going to be happening after question number 1 that we just had. All right, what else do we need to know here besides fall? When you're working hard. So you're going to be working hard on something probably during the fall. It could be working hard at work, a project, maybe something in a personal matter. But you're going to be hard at work when this happens during the fall. Okay, anything else? Anything else we need to know here on the timing of question number 2? When is it going to happen? Oh, okay. All right. We just got 2 that flipped out right there. Okay. So we also have August and during a tension point, during a square or opposition. Okay. So here is how I take question number 2. So whatever question number 2 is in regards to, it's going to happen. I feel like August and fall go together because August is like the last full month of summer. It's the last month of summer for like kids and that kind of thing. And then they go back to school, obviously, in the fall. So I feel like it's going to happen probably in that early fall, late summer kind of range, at the end of August as we're heading into September. It'll be happening when you're working hard. So again, if maybe something dealing with education or school lines up for you, it could be in regards to working hard when it comes to going back to school, teaching school. But again, even if education has nothing to do with you, like this is still like when you're working hard at something, and it's going to happen during a tension point. Which obviously tension points can definitely happen when you're working hard. They call it work for a reason. It's not because it's just like lounging by the pool and floating down the lazy river. It's because there is work to be done. Now, granted, it could be a labor of love. That doesn't mean that it's something that you hate. It doesn't mean that it's something that you don't enjoy and that you don't like. But that doesn't mean that there's not tension sometimes, that there's not challenges sometimes. So I feel like during a challenging season while you're working, in the early fall, late summer area, that's when this situation is going to happen. But definitely 2 very different stories here, 2 very different timelines. But I'm excited that I was able to bring that to you guys and at least pull some cards for at least like 2 itty bitty baby timing questions as to when something is going to happen. But I do feel like both of these made a lot of sense. And, if this one didn't make sense for you, possibly this one did, or vice versa. So that's really exciting. Anyways, you guys, once again, this oracle deck is called What Time Is It? It is a timing themed oracle deck. I am so incredibly happy to bring it to you guys. You can find it in my little corner of the internet once again here at shadowandshine.com. You can find this oracle deck as well as many other oracle decks that I have, and you can book readings with me there. But I'm really happy that you guys were able to hang out with me during this time to do this. And once again, on your way out, as I wrap this video up, give this video a big thumbs up. Let me know that you liked it. Drop me a comment down below. Maybe you can let me know what your favorite card was out of all the cards that came through here on our little walkthrough virtual guidebook tour of What Time Is It? Share this with your friends. If you're interested to join me on more of my adventures here, then by all means, hit that subscribe button and, of course, tap on the bell as well so you are reminded of all the upcoming updates, future videos, future lives, all that fun stuff. And come on by back here again every 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesdays as me and my friend Kelsey go live to record our podcast, Tarot Tales, which also airs on the following Fridays on all of your favorite podcast players. We do a weekly collective card pull. We talk about the upcoming astrology for the week ahead. We choose a spiritual topic of discussion to dive into for the week. And at the end of our lives, we actually take live questions from you guys to answer your questions, pull some cards for you guys, and all that fun stuff. So we would love to see you come out for one of those and join us. But otherwise, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me here today, and keep sparkling, my friends.